someone stepped forward and said they would do it, and then someone else did, and both of those people didn't end up doing it. And then the one person who ended up doing it is the one person that was terrified of it in the first place. But nonetheless, joining me tonight, my friend Buddy Thayer, founder and historian of Ocean State Paranormal. And I did say paranormal, which is exactly why I'm scared. Buddy, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Mike. How are you? Thank you for asking.
I'm honest. I'm scared. I'm one of those Italian guys that, your mom tells you don't go bothering with stuff like that because
Right, you're
you
not
don't
supposed
want
to.
to find out.
Right, you're right. You're not supposed to know, right?
No. So, I mean, all right. So tell me how you got into this. Give me like
All
some
right,
background on how
all
this
right.
is going for you.
Growing up as a kid, I was always kind of fascinated by the paranormal, specifically by hauntings. I'd have experiences now that looking back on it as an adult, I could say maybe I had paranormal experiences, although I didn't like recognize it at the time. I'd have certain sensations that I feel that I can recognize now that I can kind of like the way your body picks up on certain things, like a change of pressure. Right, perfect
Yep.
example. So I like the way like your ears pop sometimes. Um, your body does other things like that. I think maybe when there's a change in the atmosphere. So I noticed things like this. Or I noticed things like I used to work like when I was a teenager. Or like when I was a kid. 11, 12 years old, I was a paper boy. Some houses that I like, no, I can't go in there. I just get this like feeling in my chest, like don't go in there, or like this unwelcoming feeling. I don't know. I don't have mental health issues. I work in mental health, but it's not like something that happens like all the time. It's not an all the time feeling. So I have feelings like that. Or I delivered for this pizza place, Martella's. They used to be on Waterman Avenue in North Providence, and I used to go into specifically the Georgeville, one of the mills in Georgeville, this apartment complex. Not every single time, but almost every single time I went in there, I was super creeped out. I was super weirded out. I get the feeling like I'm being watched. Like I need to just get the hell out of there. Like here's your food. Bye later. Yup, thanks for my tip, and then run out, man. I don't know, it was just a feeling of fear maybe that I couldn't explain. It didn't happen all the time. So I grew up. We go friends of us. We'd go to different places like the Mercy Brown, the Vampire's Grave. We go to like places like the Lad School,
Mhm.
which I ended up going back to. I'll show you that later. Expecting to see something, wanting to see something. They call
Okay.
it like legend tripping, going to these allegedly haunted spots, hoping to see something, hoping to experience something, and I never really did. So I'm like, yeah,
So
it's whatever.
let,
It,
let me interrupt you, buddy, really quick.
all
So
right.
would you say that we all maybe have this sense that leads to paranormal stuff like that, but we just don't use it or look to it or hone it as a skill, and maybe
Right.
that yours is just more developed than say mine, and maybe
Yes, that's
that's
what I.
why you think.
That they call it a veil, right? A veil of like perception is one of the things that they'll call it. Some people's veils are thicker than others.
Yep.
So some people like say like a medium can see or hear the dead, in whatever form they're seeing or hear them in. Some of them are it's remarkable what some of them come out with. But anyway, I think that some of us are a little bit more open to it than others. And yes, whereas as I thought I might have had little to no sensitivity to it at one time in my life, where now I think I have a greater sensitivity, maybe a greater awareness of what's going on, maybe more than anything. But
Okay.
yeah, I think some people I've met people who have never and don't believe. I know complete skeptics. Some of my best friends are skeptics. Um, but I think everybody's experience is one.
Mhm.
Because that definitely changed me, and I don't know. Being open to it, I guess, is another one. If you're saying it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. Although at the time when I first became aware, I was pretty much a skeptic myself.
It's tough to draw the line there because it's where does it you're open to something. Um, when does that become too open? Like, in other words,
Yeah,
once you
exactly.
start to
When
open
you
the
delete
box, it just
everything.
opens all the way. Yeah, it's just
So
it seems like
I'm gonna give
today's
you
a day of extremes. Yeah, it's a
perfect
day of
example. Right,
extremes.
I started working for this group home back in 2007. It was a group home for children. I worked in the Burrville houses. I worked in the Woonsocket house. I worked for a second shift. I didn't really touch third. I wasn't really ever a big fan of third shift because I'm a daytime person. So then I got married in 2008, and my wife needed health care, so I needed to take a full time job. So they had a job available, but it was on third shift. I'm like, well, I'm going back to school. This will be good. I'll get to do my homework. Blah blah blah. So I worked at the Woonsocket house. Nice house, gorgeous house, right on Providence Street. Nice section of Woonsocket. Really old 1920s house, all old woodwork and stuff. Go in there. I worked in this place a few times, worked in this house, but I'd never been there after like 10 o'clock at night. So I go in there to work third shift, and you clean the house, you do regular checks on the boys, you do the meds for the next day, you prep the house for the next day, you do the dishes, stuff like that. Take care of kids as they get up, as they need it, 4 to 12 years old. So as soon as I started working there, everybody had a ghost story. I'm like, nah, man, don't tell me this stuff because you're gonna put it in my head. And I'm like, you're having this experience, you're having this experience, but what if you're only having this? You're having this perception that this might be a ghost. Something happens. You say it's a ghost because Mary on second shift told you that this place is haunted. So you're already
Okay.
coming into the situation thinking it's haunted. So it's all in your head, right?
Yep.
That was my. It's all in your head. It's an old house, and people automatically say ghost when something
Hmm.
happens because they have
Hmm.
no explanation for it. And maybe they want that excitement in their life. Whatever. So I'm like, whatever. Don't even talk about it. I don't believe it. It's bullshit.
Hmm.
So it starts probably. I started there around January ish. I was getting married in August. Around March or April, I noticed like I'd be doing something. It was one kitchen, and it was 3 bedrooms off a kitchen, a living room, a bedroom off of that, and then upstairs
Yep.
there was offices that were locked, and downstairs was the playroom. So I noticed like just that weird feeling, like you constantly like I thought I saw something. Did I just see something? And you look over you, and there's nothing there. You get that feeling like you're not alone, right? So I was just,
Mm.
it's just buddy, it's in your head, it's whatever, it's nonsense. And I just go about my business. And then it would happen more and more, and I would swallow it. I'm like, no, no, don't even buy into it. It's nothing. It's bullshit. These people talking, and you just your mind, whatever. And then like the TV would pop on in the playroom, and it would come on at full volume. I'm like, what asshole left that TV on? Well, I
Yeah.
go downstairs, turn it off, come back upstairs, turn off the lights, blah blah blah, go back. Kids would wake up. They'd be like, "Oh, I see a man in my room. He's looking at me. He's scary. You're just having a nightmare, kid. Go back to bed. I'll take your dog." Blah blah blah. All that stuff. So I'll never forget. I got married. Came back from my honeymoon. Came back on a Sunday into Monday. This is a Monday into a Tuesday. It was August 7th, 2008.
Okay.
I was got up. I went to work. I did my normal routine. I did the meds. I did the check-in. All that. Just never felt anything weird all night long. Just a normal day. I'm sitting there at my computer, and I get up. I got to put the dishes, empty the dishwasher, and set up. Like it was 4:30 in the morning. Just set up for first shift because they come in at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So setting up for breakfast, taking the dishes out of the dishwasher, put them in the cabinets and stuff. Every boy had they were DCYF kids. Oh, there's some at-risk kids. They have um, um, like a sound. They had like an alarm on their bed. So as soon as they got up out of that bed, doo 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 doo, nonstop, doo doo, over and over and over again. So you shut it off, or they got out of the way of the sensor. So the bed that was right across from like 4 feet behind me, there was a bed. There was me here, and I'm doing the dishes. Right behind me is a three-bedroom boy bedroom, and then right there is the bathroom. So you have kids get up all night long having to use the bathroom, or they wet themselves, whatever. So I the monitor started going off. I hear the doo 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 doo, and I turn and look. I see a figure coming out from the darkness. I'm like, oh Russ, you got to use the bathroom. The shadow. It was a figure walked right at me. It was like it was a black shadow. I could see through it. It was translucent, but it wasn't like thin. It was dark, jet black almost. You see the shoulder movements. You could see the head. You could see the arms swaying. It walked right past me. I grabbed that countertop for dear life, and it disappeared in a flash of an eye. I've never been so terrified in my entire life.
Did it walk by you looking like the kid? Was it the same like size as the kid would have been?
Right. So I'm about 6'4". It came up to about my chest height. So the three kids that were in there, it wasn't any of their heights. It was about chest height, maybe about 5'6", 5'7".
But who did you call out for though? Russ? Didn't you say?
Russ, because he was one of the kids that was in the room. Like,
Would
hey,
he
Russ,
be that height?
bathroom, and this thing came out of the room, this shadow, and walked. The bathroom would have been to my left. It walked right in front of me, and then we went to go into the living room and completely just disappeared. It was vanished.
All right. So wait a minute. What I'm saying, I guess what I'm asking is there's no way that Russ is the same size as this thing, right?
No. Russ was a 9-year-old black kid who was about maybe 4'5".
Okay. So did it walk as if it had some place to go? Did it walk like it was threatening, or did it walk like it was?
It was just walking by, like it was just walking by.
As if it was just.
It walked out of the bedroom, was walking in the living room, like going about its business. Like it was a person.
So nothing was special. It was just like.
Nothing was special. It didn't bother me. Mike,
Okay.
It was a black shadow that walked in front of me, and I almost shit myself. That's exactly what it was.
When you got scared, did it? Do you think that it felt that you got scared? Like when you started.
The shadow didn't interact with me. However,
didn't speed up when you
not at all. Didn't speak. Didn't look at me. Didn't have eyes. It was just black, like what someone might describe as a shadow person. I don't really buy into the whole shadow person thing, but it was a clear, definitive shadow, and you saw like the strut. You saw it walking. You know.
Yeah, it's odd you say that because that's actually the picture I put up for the show, whatever those.
Put up shadow people, yeah.
The thumbnail, yeah, because the one thing that I've always had issue with, see, I refuse to allow any of this stuff in my head. Like I'm one of those people that like where I live, I know that like I have relatives that are still around me. And it's weird because I have that feeling sometimes, like where I know they're there, and because they know I don't want to touch or I don't even want to deal with that side of things. They kind of like they're a buffer. So I'm not privy to like when stuff like that happens. However, I've definitely had instances where I've been walking at night and I've seen, shadows that look like people. The shadow people, the legit like, and they move. And what's scary is if you've ever seen one move. And it's like I would swear to God that I did see this part of it. Like, in other words, it wasn't just on the ground. It was up here. It stood up. That's the thing that I don't think people understand. When I see it, it wasn't I saw a shadow of a person on the ground running by me. That thing was like...
It was walking. It was a 3D, yeah.
3D, like, yeah.
Like Crystal magic. Walking by you, but their shadow was trailing in the air, yeah. So that happened in August.
But I like that.
And... over the next 2.5 months, every single night that I worked in that house, something happened. Whether it be, now this happened a lot. I'd be sitting there on the computer in front of the same bedroom. I'd hear boom, 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 boom. Who the fuck is going upstairs? Who's up? I get up, I run up, I check all the kids, I grab the keys, I run upstairs, I unlock 3 doors. Nobody in any of those 3 offices. Relock every door. Go upstairs, make sure all 5 boys were always in their bed. That would freak me out. I'd get a phone call. So we'd have to make calls every half hour. We're up, all 5 kids are safe, blah, 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 everything's cool. Hang up the phone. I got a phone call from one of the other houses. Hey, Lori was driving by. She wants to know who you got there. I'm like, what do you mean who I got there? I got Russ, I got Bobby, I got Fred. No, not the kids. Who you got there for staff? Is it just you? Yeah, of course it's just me. Who else would I have here? You traded anybody? No, I'm not trading. It's just me and the 5 boys. Lori drove by and she saw a woman standing in the Florida room. I just get like the chills running up my back. Like, don't say that to me. Don't, because this is one of the things that people would say, that they'd see a woman standing in the front room, in the Florida room, or another stats that they saw the woman walking through the living room and up the stairs. Like, I don't want to hear this shit. Don't call me at 3:00 in the morning, lady, and tell no, I'm not. There's no one else here. And I like hang up the phone. I'm like, don't even talk to me. All right, like another one. I was folding laundry. I was in the middle of this kitchen. Nothing else around me. I'm folding a big sheet. I got my arms out like this. On the back of my shirt, I feel like this. I tug on my shirt. I turn around thinking it's a kid. Get up. I didn't hear him. nobody there. I'm like, whoa. TV would go on in the basement. That would happen a lot. Kid would wake up. Oh, I feel this on my arm. I feel there's a man standing above me. Like it got to the point where there was cold spots. I was being touched. I was hearing like conversations in the living room. Thinking a kid was up. I get up and go running in there, and there was no one there ever.
All right.
No one outside. I walk around the house. Nobody outside. So about November rolls around, and at this point, I said to my wife, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is like, am I nuts? Am I losing my mind, or is this real? And if it is, I'm absolutely terrified because this is next level. Because I never believe I wanted to, but the fact that it's right there, that I'm experiencing it now, that I'm living it now, made it much more scarier. So I went to my boss. She was a clinician. I'm like, Carrie, you're gonna think I'm crazy. You're gonna think I'm nuts. She's like, no, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm like, first of all, I'm like, is there any open shifts on like first or second shift? Can I switch my shift or something? Go to another house? Like, is there anything wrong? Are you okay? Yeah. Like this, I'm like, I don't, and I didn't know how to tell. I'm like, you're gonna think I'm crazy. It's a clinician. This is like a person who deals with mental health every day. They're gonna think I'm nuts. I'm having delusions, hallucinations, everything else. No, what's wrong? I'm like, I think I'm experiencing she's like, you seeing ghosts? I'm like, what? And she's like, oh, everybody. And she starts telling me her stories. She starts telling me stories that the kids have told her. She starts it's like, and most of these people's stories, like the toys going on in the night, like, just like, it's like weird. A lot of the weird shit that other people have experienced, I've experienced. I'm like, all right, so like, what do I do?
They just went about it. She just went about business. She knew
she's
all
like,
about.
it is what it. She's like, I was in here last summer. They were redoing the floors. They said all the kids. They had this beach house. All the kids went and stayed with all the staff. She's like, I came through here. There was nobody in here. So looking at the floors, there was a dime on the floor. I bent over to pick up the dime. I heard a man whistle at me and say, "Hey, baby." And she's like, I stood up. There was nobody around, and I took off. She's like, I'll never come in here by myself alone again. So a woman with a master's levels clinician. She's not crazy. So I'm like, all right.
So let me ask you this. I gotta ask you this. Did you feel threatened by these happenings? Did you feel like it was bullying you, or did you just feel like it was messing with you because it had nothing else to do?
I felt scared because I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was capable of. I didn't know what it was going to become. I was a big horror movie guy, so I didn't know if it was like, going to possess. I didn't know if I was. I'm a mental health guy, so I didn't know if I was losing my mind. Yeah. So this other overnight work, she's like, you got to talk to. I forgot her name now. She wasn't Chipetcha. Anyway, you got to talk to this woman. She's like, she works here a lot. She's the one that told me about she's seeing the woman. She's like, and I call her up on the phone, and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I tell her the story. She's like, oh, yeah, I told you there's a woman there. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I think I'm experiencing these people. I think they're fucking with me,
Yeah.
I'm like, what do I do? She's like, just tell them to leave me alone. Like, what do you mean? Like, just tell them to leave me alone? They're just going to leave me alone? She's like, yeah. She's like, they're people. She's like, tell them stop bothering you and leave me alone, and they will. I'm like out loud? She's like, yeah. Not in your head. Do it out loud. I'm like, what? She said, just do it. So I'm like, she's nuts. I'm like, whatever. So I end up going back to work. I'm at work at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, let me give this a shot. I shut all the doors, all the bedroom doors. I stand in the middle of the kitchen where the height of activity has always been.
Yep.
And I'm like, look, actually, let me pause the story here. I did some research beforehand. I went to the Woonsocket City Hall, and I looked into there were 4 owners of the house. The group home who bought the house. The people who owned the house before it were party people, and one of their party people friends was an employee that worked with me, so she said that they were all living. There was a family that had 3 kids and a husband and a wife, and they owned the house for like 50 years. All the members of the family were still alive. The parents were old and elderly in a nursing home. So the last possible suspects of ghosts that this could potentially be was this Italian couple from that had immigrated just before 1900, come here, worked at the mills in Woonsocket, built this house in 1920, and in 1939 they fell behind in their mortgage at the end of the Depression. They lost their house, and both of them were dead by 1941. They're both buried in the Sacred Blood Cemetery in Woonsocket, at Paranunzi. So I went Close all the
Stop.
doors.
Say no more. Italians, you take away their house, I guarantee they're going to
haunt you
come
for life.
haunt you.
Yeah, they haunt you forever.
Oh, they're going to come haunt you. Go
So
ahead. But I already know.
said, Mr. and Mrs. Paranormal, you have a beautiful home, all this beautiful woodwork. I'll do what I can to keep it pretty, but I'm not here for you. I'm here for the safety of these children, and I'd appreciate it if you left me alone. I'm like, it's not gonna work. It's bullshit. And I went about my business. But that was November. I worked there until February. I didn't have another experience from that point on.
No, you know what? I got to be honest. I just pulled this out of my head because I'm excited. The minute you figured out it was Italian ghosts, hey, forget about it, guy. All you're going to be is like, show a little respect. Tell them that you're going to take care of the place. You know what I mean? That you're going to clean the bath of the dog, or whatever you got, and that you love it. But just like he would do for his family, you got to put your family first, and then he goes, wash my hand to you, you're all set. But yeah, I can see that happening. I can see that happening. That's kind of scary.
4 months after that, my grandmother passed away.
Sorry here.
Oh, but yeah, no, this is a while ago, but thank you. Within 3 days of her passing, stuff started happening at that house, and I grew up in that house. I lived I had my wedding stuff at that house, not my wedding, but I had my rehearsal dinner there. I had a lot of family stuff there, always there, cutting the lawn, doing stuff. I never had a weird experience there ever until she died. Since she's died, it picked up exponentially from smells, from like her smell. You'd smell it, or like it'd be like the stove would be found left on.
Yeah,
weird. That's not something that it's stovetop. The burner, nobody would do that, or the heat, which she would turn up all the time, was on 85 all the time. It's like, why is the heat? Why is it so hot? And you go and look, and the temperature was on 85. My mother, it got to the point where it got a lot. It got heavier. It got a lot more stuff happening. My mother was scared, as I was months before. She's like, get those ghost hunters on TV. Have them come in here. So I called TAPS. I called the ghost hunters. And they, of course, were booked and doing stuff all over the country. So I found another team. They came in. They were able to replicate the smell. They had the same smell experience. They couldn't find any location for the smell. They caught an EVP. It was pretty good. And it's just the way they made us feel. The way they're like, look, it's probably your mother-in-law, it's probably your grandmother. It's not the demon. It's not the devil. They educated us a little bit on it. And they just put us at ease. They made us feel like, all right, this is not like some evil that's going to take over and like kill us all like in a horror movie or something. This is just like Nana, and she might pop up every now and again. While it was still is to this day, a little unsettling because it's weird,
Yeah.
It's still like, okay, it's just Nana. Hey, how you doing? Merry Christmas, whatever. So at that point, after that, I ended up joining that team. And I ended up doing a lot of, I studied history in college, so I did a lot of, I became the historian, and in turn I was able to pick up on a lot of stuff, looking at pictures, analyzation, listening to stuff, analyzing audio and stuff and video. And after a few years of doing that, they kind of folded up, and my wife convinced me. She's like, you can just do it, just follow your own thing. And I founded Ocean State Paranormal in 2012. So our thing is to go. I do a lot of residential haunts. I go into a lot of houses, even that aren't haunted, and we'll find a reason why they might be experiencing something, and they're like, all right, this is the logical answer to your problem. You have a shaky pipe. It sounds like footsteps when like a truck goes by, or like you feel afraid in your basement because you have poorly insulated wires because you live in an old house, and the electromagnetic field is causing you this natural feeling to feel scared. And that's why you feel scared in your basement. It's not a ghost. It's your house. It's your wires. It's natural. It's okay. Maybe you get an electrician in here, but it's not a ghost. Right? So I don't just like automatically go to ghosts. I'm like probably not the biggest skeptic, but I'm a pretty big skeptic as far as the field goes. I don't buy into vortexes or like, I'm even like sketchy on demons. I do think there's a lot of negative energy. There's negative entities, but I'm not going to tag it a religion or like a.
Well, let me ask you this. So this is the $1 million question right here. Well, nowadays, $1 million is really not that much. This is like the $1 trillion question. So, what do you think a ghost is? Because allow me for 1 second to explain.
Oh, good Lord.
Where I think ghosts come in, see, I'm a person that very skeptic on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Other things, conspiracy theories that people would call conspiracy theories, I buy into. Some of them, like I just believe a lot. I'm one way or the other on this stuff. With ghosts, see, I have an issue with um, multi universes, and I feel horrible that Marvel Comics had to go make that like a major part of their movies because it feels like it was just another way for Hollywood to make a joke out of something that's real or kind of joke around with something that like I literally feel like we bump timelines. Like NASA had that one blip. I want to say about like 16 years back, maybe less than that. Where time's always been a constant, just straight line, and it actually had a blip. So that means there was like infractions where it would cross through in multi places, showing that time could be everywhere.
Yeah. Maybe.
So
I'm going to say maybe. I can't say. I don't like to say one way or the other.
See where I'm coming from, though? What I'm getting at? Like, I always thought ghosts might have been, are we slipping through
into another dimension, maybe?
Yeah, not even dimension, just time.
Yeah.
I know that sounds really weird, but if there's ghosts, could it just be that, are they spirits? What I'm saying is it the soul of people that came out and they're haunting a house? Is that what we think it is?
Honestly, what I think it is. I think it's energy.
Yep.
I don't like to tie on the whole religion thing to it because I like to make it.
Yeah, but just give me something because I want to hear what you think because then we'll figure it out.
I think it's energy. I think it's people's, and some people's energy hold on for hundreds of years. I've experienced ghosts of Native Americans speaking foreign tongue that I couldn't understand, and then come to find out it was in a Native American area. I've experienced ghosts that might have dated back hundreds of years. I experienced ghosts or experienced stuff that people died last week. Just like I don't know what causes, or I don't know what I think causes one person to hold on from another. Like people ask me if ghosts are real, then why, when everybody dies, why isn't this world polluted with millions and billions and billions of ghosts? I don't know. I know for one reason or another, certain people want to hold on, and they do. And certain people don't, and they cross over, move on, or whatever it's called. So I think as far as a haunt goes, in my experiences, I've experienced just three types of haunts. The intelligent haunt, which is the ghost, the spirit that will interact with you, that knows that you're there, that's not like in their own time, that's like, hey, your name's Buddy, and I can hear what you're saying about me, and I'm gonna push this over and hope you see me, or I'm gonna poke you and hope you know it's me. Or then there's the residual haunt, which is like something playing back over time, like me getting up to go to the bathroom and going this way and passing by this wall, and me going to the bathroom for the rest of eternity. Okay, so like people will live here in like 100 years and they'll see me getting up to go to the bathroom. It's just what I did in my time. I don't know that they're there. All I know is me. I'm just getting up to go to the bathroom.
Let's hope it's not. Let's hope it's not you getting up to go to the bathroom.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it's
but I get that. I get what you're saying.
People will see spirits in Gettysburg, and it'll be soldiers marching. And they don't interact with them. They're marching. They're doing their own thing, and that's said to be like a residual haunt. Or
I get those three. I'm stuck on the energy part, and that's just really where I'm stuck. I got like a 4-year-old's brain, so like I keep saying
I'm not the big science guy. I don't
want science. I want. Do you believe in demons? Do you believe in the dark side?
It just changes form. So I guess that's what I believe.
Buddy, do you believe in demons?
I believe in negative energy.
Okay.
Right? I believe there's negative entities. Absolutely. I have been on investigations, and I've had surreal moments where I'm like, is this real? Is this really happening? Like where you feel temperature changes, where I've been scratched. I have had a scratch, literally. I did an investigation. It was case 7. It was in Providence, and we brought in demonologists, and they did a cleansing. They did a house blessing and whatnot. It was basically like a Catholic mass. And they said a bunch of prayers, and they do a bunch of scripture. The next morning, I was taking a shower, and I realized it when I'm in the shower. Now, it could have been that. It could have been my cats, but I don't think my cats have this kind of surgical skill. I had a cut running from here to here, right along my hairline, perfectly
Wow.
with my hairline. It's just weird. I was in another place, in a mill down in West Warwick, and we were in a room, and I was just standing there, and we are just sitting there chatting, blah, blah, blah. In the dark, it was an investigation, we were with another group. I feel something like running down my leg. It feels like cold water. I'm like, did I like go by a pipe? Or like, what's this on? I'm like, you got a flashlight? Yeah, he shines the light, and I got blood like gushing down my leg. I got a giant cut of this long on my calf. I didn't feel it before, like the cut on my head and the cut on my calf. I didn't feel it until I saw it, and then it was like burning, awful pain. Ended up taking care of it, and it was fine, and both went away fine. I don't know if it's, I can't, I'm not gonna say it's demonic. I don't know if it's, but come to find out that room that I was standing in, the mill was abandoned for years and years and years, and when they went in and cleaned it out, that room had a giant pentagram on that very wall that I was standing against, and kids would come in and do like satanic worship in that very room. I'm not saying it was Satan that scratched me, but it's kind of weird. That's all.
Look, here's the thing. I think one thing I've learned in my long ass time on Earth is that I know when I'm in the room with evil, and I know when I'm in the room sometimes with good, like pure good, pure
you get
evil.
Vibes from people. Sometimes.
Yeah, legitimately. Yeah, some people make me feel like that. Like that's a good person. Like I can just feel it sometimes. And then some people, like the hair just stands up the minute especially if I'm with my kids, because the minute someone that's like that comes in the room, I identify them. I don't know why. It's like you said. It's like
you
that.
Just get that
extra
vibe.
sense.
You just feel it. Yeah,
I just zone right to that person, and I think I'm gonna watch him. So I do believe that there's evil. With that said, if there's energy staying around, I would think that it's energy that has a reason to stay around, meaning there's something that it hasn't finished. It's got leftover business. There's something keeping it.
All right. So now let me say this about that. People will say to me all the time, "Oh, you're investigating here. Was it somebody that got murdered there? Is it somebody that killed themselves? Is something a tragedy?" I'm like, no, not at all. I'm just like, what was it? What were the ghosts? What were they there? Blah blah blah. Think about it, right? So you're young, right? No, you're not young. I'm not young, but I mean, we're younger. You're younger.
Thank
You're
you
a
for
kid,
that.
you graduated from school. You get out of high school. You start working. You meet somebody. They're really nice. You end up falling in love. You get married. You buy a house, right? You move into that house. You enjoy your wife, enjoy your marriage. You have a bunch of kids. You watch the kids grow. You enjoy and appreciate that time. You have a lot of memories put into that house. The kids leave the house. The kids get married. They have kids. They have kids come into your house. You get old, growing old through that house, and have all these tremendous memories of your children, your grandchildren in this house. You retire, and God forbid you die one day, right?
Yep.
Where are you going to go that you were most happiest in your life? You're going to go back to that house. We have all these great memories of your kids. You want to see your kids. Your kids might be there. Your grandkids might be there. You're going to go there because you want to see all these people.
But why? But why not go to heaven?
I don't know. Maybe you were, all right, some people did things while they were on Earth. Maybe you were a child molester and you don't feel like, you don't want to cross over, you know?
But all right. So now you're coming back to what I believe in. It seems like the negative ones stay.
Maybe you don't want to leave family behind. Maybe you're not ready to leave those family behind yet, and you want to still see them all the time.
All right, you could be worried about them. Yeah, I get that.
So you stay behind. It doesn't necessarily mean they had a job. Maybe Earth was their heaven, and maybe their heaven is what they did every day, where they raised their people, where they raised their loved ones. Maybe that's their heaven. Maybe not everybody believes in heaven. What happens when an atheist dies?
Yeah. I guess I guess if you start to think about what really constitutes a ghost, or what we think it could be made up of, it's too many answers. In other words, it's too many. I guess it's just too many answers. But I do see it as energy left behind, and I do see it mostly as negative. Like when I think of ghosts, I think negative. When I've heard ghost stories, 75% negative. Yeah.
Why would they make me feel that way? It's honestly 99.9% of spirits that I interact with, I believe, are positive or not at all negative. Not at all here to do me harm. Some of them have something to say. Some of them don't. Some of them tell me to get the fuck out. Yeah. I've heard get the fuck out of my house before.
Really?
for spirit box, which is something that you generally hear on the radio. So I kind of thought,
Spirit box. See now,
uh,
look, I'll be honest. I don't follow on paranormal. My wife does. She'll watch shows. Whenever this comes
yeah,
on, she'll watch stuff.
don't believe
I
anything you see on TV. First
I,
of all,
I do stuff like this. I'm like I said. I don't. I try not to invite the devil over. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people. But
I'm a big no for the Ouija board because in my head I believe the
someone's
Ouija
pushing.
board like invites evil because that's what you've been told. The spirit box is it scans radio waves at a higher rate. It does it at backwards, forward speeds.
Yeah.
It does it without bringing in the actual radio channel. So you'll just get you'll get the. I'm not a technical guy. I have a tech guy
But I
for
know what you're
this,
saying though. But I
but
know what you're saying.
we'll scan through these radio stations at like within like multi stations in like even a second,
Yeah, it's like a white
and
noise.
for all these radio stations to be able to coordinate a single sentence all at the same time, probably pretty damn impossible.
Yeah. True.
So for stuff to be coming through that comes through, I don't. I have examples that I'll play for you. It just doesn't seem like a coincidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like they use the waves, the radio waves.
Yeah, they
Like
use multiple wave patterns. It's like it's running like through 8, 9, 10, 12 different stations, and it's saying one thing through all these stations at a single pace. It's better when I show you, but I have a few EVPs that I can present that will show you what the spirit box is all about. Now, granted, when somebody first mentioned spirit box to me, I'm like that shit's bullshit. It's just something they use on TV. It's just a gag. We used it a few times. I was like, yeah, and then we used it a few more times, and I'm like, oh wow.
yeah.
And there's been some like remarkable stuff that has come through on the spirit box where I'm kind of convinced that like, okay, I can use this possibly as a tool. Not everything that comes through is going to be naturally. There's some radio-esque things that you'll pick up on, but
Yep.
I don't know. There's some things that I can't excuse. I just think I can't pull
So
up. You know?
so why I think the radio waves are great and why I think they pick them up because I back to my insane theory of these timelines and time
Right.
kind of bumping. But that's all. It's all of the same ilk. Like that's all the same conversation. But let me ask you. So have you challenged a ghost? Like have you gotten angry enough to be
No, I don't
like
get angry
what's
at
up?
spirits. I won't. This is how I enter an investigation. I don't. If there are spirits there, if I think there are spirits present, I do not disrespect. They're people,
Mhm.
just like
Yep.
you or I. Okay.
Good.
And I treat them with the utmost respect. I don't want to anger the ghost and have them take it out on my client and absolutely terrorize my
Sure.
client. I'm there to help my client to understand what's possibly going on, whether it be something paranormal or something not paranormal at all. If it's not paranormal at all, we go down that road. If it's paranormal, we kind of explore a little bit more what it is and who it could be. Isn't always 100%. I'll bring in mediums, trusted mediums. I'll bring in multiple different mediums at different times and see that don't know each other at all to see if how accurate they are,
Mm,
how accurate they are with the evidence that I collect beforehand. I do a whole historical study of the house, the property, the people who live there now,
that's good.
people who have lived there in the past. So I have a very good idea. So yeah, so it's people. So I don't antagonize ever, but I do use being a person who works in psychology. I understand triggers, so I do use trigger questions. I do trigger or try and trigger a response by like. So I'll study the house. I'll study the property history, and I'll see what the people like did for a living, or I'll see what the people if they had kids, or I'll see if they have like a war record, or I'll see little
Yeah.
specifics, little if they like coach the football team. I'll get little specifics about these. Read their obituaries. I'll read their information in the census. I'll read the city directory information. Any information I can gather on these people, and I'll use that as like a trigger question.
Yep. To get them
Which
going.
I'll show you also another two fantastic pieces I have about treating people with respect and using history to trigger a response. And it works phenomenally.
Yeah.
I don't
That
have to. I don't have to disrespect them to get an answer, which is great because I wouldn't want to be disrespected, you know.
it's all
So,
about
and
talking to
again, I
people.
don't want
Yeah.
them to torture the client or the people that we're investigating for. So I try and keep it, um, try and keep it cool.
Yeah,
I will talk about things that could anger them, could be triggering, but I'm not gonna set out to anger a spirit.
yeah, you don't want that. No
Even
one
if
wants that. Yeah,
right.
no one wants that. I don't think anybody wants to be the person that angers a spirit. So basically, what you do is you come in and on a high level, you break down what exactly they're experiencing,
Okay.
potential reasons, and
People
then
will. All right. So Mary Jane calls me for an investigation. Okay. I'm like, what's going on? I have a whole pre-screening process where I take in all their information. I don't just get the paranormal information. I get the honest information, who's living there, mental health history, medications they may be on. I'm trying to look at every avenue. Okay. I'm not. Paranormal is going to be my last one that I look at. So I look at everything else. I've met people who are out of their friggin' mind, dude.
yeah,
Psychotic. So you kind of like want to weed these people out. I have people that work in my team that are therapists, that are social worker, that understand psychology. I understand psychology myself. It's just I try and weed that stuff out so we can eliminate that. We can eliminate everything that we have to. So there's a whole screening process to understand what we're getting into before we
yeah,
actually get into it.
must be a
Um,
lot. Yeah,
it's a lot of work. I do a whole, like I say, a whole historical inquiry on everything beforehand, and everything's, of course, is on my own dime. I don't charge people anything. People are like, oh, you should charge money for that. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, who charges money for this, right? Second of all, even if I did, I'm doing this to help people. I'm not doing this to screw people over, right? So,
yep,
I mean, while yes, I am using my own gas, I'm using my own time off. I'm going out and doing stuff. It's what I love, so I don't necessarily mind. I love history, and the paranormal's pretty cool too. So it's allowing me to kind of use that history passion that I have as well. So using that, I
yeah,
do that. And we do more than one visit. Sometimes it's 1, 2, 3 nights of investigating or days, whatever works scheduling wise. We're going with mediums separately after the fact, and then there's the whole review process, which people really kind of take for granted sometimes. And they say, a couple weeks, you'll get back to me. I'm like, nah, this is gonna take us like easily a couple months. We got like hundreds of hours of audio recording over a couple recorders, videos to look through, which is incredibly boring at times. Not all the time, actually, about 95% of the time. This is not, you're looking at a video, you're just looking at, like, all right, I'm recording this chair for 6 hours, and I just gotta look at this chair and hopes that something's gonna happen, because if not, I'm gonna, like, blow my brains out of boredom, which is
yeah.
usually the
Wow.
case. But yeah, we do the whole process. A case could take anywhere between 4 and 6 months. And then some even,
I mean,
So
in general, for the whole process, you have to have an incredible amount of patience. Because I'm listening to you talking, even how you interview the person, it's slow and it's meticulous, and you're doing it for a reason because you're trying to weed out the crazies, and you're trying to stay on track and you're comforting by covering all the bases. That must
right,
comfort
right,
the homeowner that you're intelligent enough to cover all the bases and slowly, you know what I mean, take care of everything. That's a calming tempo. Whereas if I was doing it, I would be too hyper and I'd upset them and they would not want me back.
right. And some people are
So
meant for it,
yeah,
some people aren't, right?
I get it. I get it. I get it.
But
Continue.
it's I try to make it. It sometimes is tedious, and sometimes like even after the fact, people will like message me for years. Like, oh, I'm still having stuff. Well, you're gonna still have stuff because we're not the Ghostbusters. We're not gonna capture this ghost
We didn't
and put it
suck
in
them
a
up.
containment unit. We're gonna help you
Yeah.
to deal with the spirit and like live with it, I guess you could say. I want more. I want more. Well, we've said it's haunted or we've said it's not haunted. There's only so much I can do. Right? I can't like people. Some people believe in sage. I guess that it works for some people. I guess it has worked for some people.
Sage?
It's all in what you believe, I guess.
Did you
I don't
say
know.
sage?
Sage. They burn the sage.
Oh,
It's
I
an
don't
old
know.
Native American. I don't know. Some
I would
people.
just challenge it to a fight, dude. That's all I know. I'd be like, dude, come downstairs right now. That's all I know. That's all I know. So I don't think the Italian way would work.
Right. It might not, but whatever.
So
Works for some.
what's been the scariest? Wait, no, not scariest, but what's been the most God damn it moment, like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't have done this. Shouldn't have made this decision moment you've had dealing with all this stuff. Like, you know that moment you have, you're like, I shouldn't have committed. I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I agreed.
I'm not really. I'll jump at anything. I've been to the lad school. I've been to the Providence City Hall. We've investigated there. I've investigated like jails. I've investigated mills, people's houses. I've investigated scary places. I've had scary moments. I just never had like, oh, I shouldn't be here type of. Well, I've had those kind of moments, but for me, I've never had one of those. Except for no, I can't say that. I have had one of those moments. So I was doing with another group with a guy. He's a demonologist, and I'm not gonna mention his name because he's an active guy in the field. And he was running an organization that he doesn't run anymore. And he asked me as to be a consult because I was versed with psychology and I knew symptoms and I knew like what crazy people look like. And he's like, oh, I got this woman, dude. She's like. She's definitely possessed. She has a possession. He was convinced that was demonic. Convinced. Like, all right, I guess so. I'm not like a demon guy. I'm a ghost guy. I'll tell everybody. I don't want to deal with demons. I don't want to deal with any of that shit. I'm like, when that starts, I'll call somebody else in. But I'm like, I guess I'll come with you. So my tech guy Joe, he's like, oh, I want to come too. I'm like, all right, come on. It was me, Joe, and this guy James. And we go down to this woman's house. She lives in Cranston, and we go in. And we're on the first floor, and she's telling us about all her experiences and all her issues. All this stuff happens in the basement, and blah blah blah. I'm like, all right. I'm like, she's crying and stuff. I felt bad for her, but I'm like, I wasn't sold on paranormal at that point. I was just kind of like listening to her.
Were you thinking drugs?
No, I didn't think. I wasn't sure about drugs. I was kind of thinking mental health, but I wasn't like sold on either one. I was just kind of like listening to her, and it's like I want to show you downstairs. That's where all the stuff happens. But my son lives down there, but he's not home, so I'm gonna take you guys down there. So we go down there, and as soon as we got in the basement, her voice changed. Went from a sound like that, like like that, and she started like saying shit like that. And she went at this guy James, and honestly, I thought I had to put my hands on. I was about to put my hands on her and like restrain the woman. And he backed up, and the guy with Joe was absolutely terrified. And
no one yelled at her.
I'm like, oh, back up, and she did, and she listened, and she started saying the demons and the devils, and I am the devil. And I'm like, okay. All right. Dude, she was out of her mind. There was no devil. There was no demon. This woman was clearly experiencing like schizophrenic effects. Come to find out, like a week later, before that, like about a month before that, she was at Butler Hospital. No shit, you don't say. So moments like that I have. I met a guy at Dunkin' Donuts once. He's showing me this stuff. He's like, oh, I got this video. He lives off of Esmond Road. It's like, I got this video of this guy. He's like gutting another guy right outside my house. Look, can you see it? He showed me the video. Can you see it? I'm like, I'm not really seeing it on this medium, sir. I'm like, I could take the video home and I could process it. And, oh, yeah, great. And then he starts talking to me about, like, the aliens and the government are working together and they're using drugs and prostitution. I'm like, oh, my God, schizophrenia. Starts telling me about Bridgewater State Hospital. I'm like, yeah, that's where I work. Like, yep, okay, all right. I'm like, thank you, sir. I'll be in touch. Have a good day. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm glad I never saw that guy again. He lives in my area. This is probably like 7 or 8 years ago. But like he was out of his mind.
Yeah, that's just as scary in my book is working with the wrong people.
Moments like that.
Being around the wrong people.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
That woman, I was like with him, I was in a public place. I was in Dunkin' Donuts. So it wasn't that bad.
We were in her basement. Yeah.
And anything could have happened. I'm like, what am I doing here? So I've had moments like that. But with the paranormal, I've had moments where, like, all right, I got to get the hell out of here. But I think that was more of a spiritual, like my body reacting to the spirit.
Yeah.
The spiritual feeling, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that
I
makes
don't
sense.
think they're negative. I don't think they're evil. Granted, they make you feel, yes, they make me feel scared sometimes. They increase my heart rate. They make me feel like I gotta run and hide under a blanket or something, you know. But no, I think it's just the way their energy interacts with us.
So let me
Uh,
throw this by you. Tell me what you think of this theory, because my head is loaded with odd theories. I don't believe that. See, all right. Remember how earlier on you said like, how come there's not like, if that's the case, how come there's not like thousands of ghosts all walking around all
right,
at once,
right.
which I subscribe to. So in my head, I see that there's only say X amount of let's call them white orbs of energy
Mhm.
that are allowed to say travel to this time frame to either get points across or um, do some old ritual that makes them happy or anything like that. If that was the case, then I could see X amount of ghosts, whatever you want to call them, happening at all times.
Mhm.
And I guess in my weird head, you could, sign up for a time slot and
Maybe, I don't know.
go go cross the time thing. Uh, but you're limited when you get there. You get to come back, but you're more of a ghost. You don't get to really talk. You don't get to really communicate. And I can see that as frustrating,
Mhm.
and I can see it as frustrating enough to make some stay and not go back. Like on their, I don't know, call it like a 7 day pass to go have
Right.
fun. Like they decide they're just not going to come back. So that's how I always saw it. I know that sounds really messed up, and I don't know who told me that. Maybe it's just something I've always had in my head, but I've always thought of it as a rotating system where
See?
there's
Yeah.
X amount of chances you get to go out there and do your thing, and some just don't come back. Crazy,
Maybe,
right?
maybe. I don't know. Um, who knows? I don't like to say it's this. I don't like to say people. Some people will say, "Oh, there's a vortex under that stairs, and that's why all the spiritual activities happen." How can you prove that?
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
oh, I can't. That's just my feeling. Oh, that's great that this is your feeling. I'm trying to like legitimize this as much as possible too. I don't like to like. That's why I'm not saying like what I think. Is it necessarily a ghost? What is a ghost? That's like people have different opinions on that. I'm gonna tell
That's
you
why
it's
I'm
just
asking it. That's
energy.
why I'm
You
grilling
know?
you, man, because I know that's what like people must want to ask, and I know that's like because you're basically out there trying to prove yourself wrong. Like you really want to prove yourself wrong the whole time you're there. Like you want to prove that this doesn't exist, that this isn't there. Like you want to prove that nothing's going on. That's the main goal, I would think. You're not
Right?
out there
Yeah.
hoping that something's going on. So once you find it, then you're dealing with it in a very intelligent way. You're handling it, like I said, like on a big level, and you're giving it legitimacy. And once you do that, I think it puts people at ease because you're taking what they think that people might think they're crazy seriously. Like you're the
Yeah, I'm
guy
not
that's saying,
crazy
"I'm
because if
taking you
I was
serious."
crazy, you wouldn't be experiencing it too,
Yep.
right? So there's that. Yeah. So I mean, wow, I could like call upon thousands of different cases, experiences. I just there's so much to delve
I've
into.
never seen a legitimate ghost video or audio that's made me say, "Yeah, okay."
I have maybe have two videos. I definitely the audio is a little bit better. The videos, well, the video is the video, but all right. So
Whatever you have.
I can show you what I mean by triggering. All right,
Yep.
so like triggering a spirit. Hold on, this is the wrong thing. I don't know why I'm looking at this. Chrome. All right. So, do you see what I'm seeing now? Yes.
I can see it on my screen.
Oh shit, I'm not. This is not working. This is not what I had up. I'm sorry. Hold on. Bear with me for a minute.
Go ahead.
Oh, here we go. Ocean State Paranormal. All right. All right. So if you go to, if you see this, you see Ocean State Paranormal,
That's it.
you see what you're seeing. Okay. Hopefully you're going to be able to hear this. If your viewers are interested, my, any of the audio or any of the evidence that we capture or present, we present through, once we've presented it to the clients and we've let the clients know what's going on, we take the good stuff and we put it on the Facebook page. If you go to the Ocean State Paranormal page on Facebook and you look under videos, that's where you're gonna find. There'll be a different playlists, and there'll be all sorts of videos of some of the things we do, and some of them are actual clips of evidence. So that's what I'm gonna play for you right now.
Excellent.
Let's see this. This might have one I'm looking for. I'm going to start with case 2. I'll start with the first one. Case 1 was the first one, but that was more of like a training, so to say. Like, this is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. We did capture stuff, but case 2 is where I took it. Case 1 was a family house. Case 1 is the house I'm living in right now. Case 2 is my first residential case. It's, oh shit, what did I do? Oh, God.
Zoom and Skype are going on at the same
All right,
time.
here we go.
This explode.
Yeah, they hate each other. Bear with me a minute.
Oh, that's fine.
Conversate amongst yourselves. Okay, so this is the one I'm going to play for you right here. I'm going to load it up, and then I'm going to pause it. I'm going to explain it a little bit. All right. Did you hear the sound in it, by the way?
No, try it again.
All right. You hear that? You hear that? The noises?
No.
Oh,
but
shit. All right. Well,
that doesn't mean they're not there.
All right. I'll play it. I'll play it. So we'll see what happens. This is not a video necessarily. This is just an audio clip. So we're in a home that was built by a man by the name of Captain Albert Smith. You see that on the screen? He was a veteran of the Rhode Island Civil War. He was a veteran of the Rhode Island 1st Cavalry Division. The 1st Cavalry Rhode Island saw heavy fighting, especially in 1863, where almost 75% of the regiment got annihilated at the Battle of Middleburg. This guy, after that, he was one of 40 survivors of the Battle of Middleburg out of 280 guys who they got ordered to hold the town. Confederates came back with like triple the force and almost annihilated the entire division. A lot of these guys ended up running, getting away. Some of them got taken prisoner and then ended up getting freed after an exchange later in the year. But Albert Smith was a lieutenant at the time. He ended up getting free, running, escaping from Middleburg, and he ended up becoming. He ended up getting promoted to captain. He went to D.C., ended up becoming a clerk, and he was in D.C. when Lincoln was assassinated. Saw his body laying in state. Anyway, he's from Woonsocket. He was. There's a lot of information I got from him. I got from the Woonsocket City Hall and the library. He came home. He was being in the cavalry. He was a big supporter of the equestrian club. He was a big supporter of schools. He ended up founding a few of the original schools in Woonsocket. He was a Woonsocket City Councilman when Woonsocket went from town to city. He ended up dying in 1920. If you look in like obituaries from that time period, it's maybe a line, maybe a paragraph if there was somebody. This guy had a whole page. He was like really somebody to do in Woonsocket at the time. So we were in the bedroom, in the upstairs bedroom, that the media, it was myself, a medium, her name was Alexis, and Jared, who was filming. Jared didn't say anything. Myself and Alexis were talking about what a cavalry officer might have carried into battle. So as we're talking, hopefully you'll hear a third woman's voice say bayonet, and then you'll hear a man's voice come in, an older man's voice. And just by what it's saying, it's just, it's the first one that it just blew me away. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe and it still blows people away to this day. So hopefully you can hear it, because that's where it's at.
Right.
So I'm going to play it. All right, Mike, did you hear any of that?
No.
Oh shit, that sucks. All right, so I can't play you all the audio pieces that I have. So I do have a few pieces of video. So let me bring those up real quick. Oh damn it! Oh man, I had a lot of them. Okay, that's okay. Let me find the video. Uh, okay, it's back. Just give me a second.
I like how I like how on the left it said grunge, and then the Daily Dolphin. You can't slip that by a sports guy like me. What are you kidding me?
Oh yeah.
I sniffed that right out. My older brother's a Dolphins fan.
Oh yeah, I get the game on right now. I was watching the KC game from. They didn't play that bad against Kansas City. I'm actually a little bit impressed with them.
Those Dolphins and my Giants are two teams on the rise. Two teams that both play 11 men to the ball defense. And if you can't love that, you don't love football. Like
right. I became a Giants fan when they started beating the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That was fantastic.
Just the way they lump teams up, and I think Tua is, dude, he's being thrown right into the fire, and he's just still trying to find his way through to win. Like they make fun of the way he looks, but he'll be fine. Just give him time.
He was an incredible college football player. No, I know. Right, I can't say that because
he wins.
So many guys have flopped out of college in the NFL,
but he wins. That's the thing.
He does so far. Knock on wood. I won't allow myself to get excited at all because the Dolphins they've let me down for price.
I know, but look, no offense to you, they have been in a Super Bowl since 1980. What, 4?
83, yeah, 83.
You really do need to get excited over anything. But go ahead. You know what I mean? Take it in.
You're like, oh, they're doing well. No. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. You know. All right. So hold on. Let me pause this before it starts playing out. Oh no, it's playing. Shit. Okay. Bring it back. Okay, so you see this screen here, right? What I'm looking at here?
Yep.
This hallway, black and white.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the Varna Memorial Armory. This is in East Greenwich. We were lucky enough to get invited to go in there and investigate about 3 years ago and had a very successful investigation. We're now the only group that's allowed to go in there, and we'll occasionally host like public investigations, or we'll have a medium come in and we'll charge a bunch of money and people pay tickets and fill up the place, and all the money that we ever collect we donate right back to these people because they do the Varna Memorial Armory and Museum. They do incredible conservation work with history, and their museum is like one of the like lost gems in Rhode Island that not a lot of people know about. They're free, they're open to the public. They have like personal artifacts that a guy carried into war 150 years ago, you know? So you think a place like this, you think like, oh, well, this is this guy's shirt that he wore in the Civil War, and he was shot at the Battle of Antietam, and this is the shirt with the blood stain on it. Is this guy's spirit attached to this shirt, you know?
But buddy, see what I appreciate about you, let me interrupt really quick before you play this, is that you see what I see. You see that a medium coming to speak isn't as impressive as the history that's up on those walls.
Like, oh my God!
People don't enjoy something like this, like a museum style, like soaking up the actual history. They want someone to be like, is there a Joe in your family? Is there a Jim? Like, they want that media hype. I don't want to call it crap because some of it's real. I'm just saying, like, that pompous. They don't want this. That the fact that people can't pay attention for longer than 4 seconds. They're missing out on what I believe is this. This is like the guys. It's like, as a guy, I always thought you were supposed to know your history. My dad was always like, you got to know your history. Like, you got to know your history. You got to know where you came from, how things happened. And I'm like, why? It had nothing to do with me. He's like, you have to know it. It's repetitive. You got to know your history. And I know personally, even my wife, we would just stand there and read this for hours. But some people walk right past this stuff. And
it's incredible. What they have on this hallways just the tip of the iceberg. The rooms that are off these hallways hold all the artifacts. They hold like the curator. When we first, myself and Joe, one of my tech guys, we first went and interviewed the curator here, and he showed us around. He hands me a musket. He's like, This is from the Revolutionary War, and he puts it right in my hands. He's like, we have a $250,000 liability on this. I'm like, oh, you can take this right back. But they have like weapons that were used in the war, you know?
Wow.
personal objects from Civil War, American Revolution. They have a letter from Nathaniel Greene to George Washington.
Oh,
They
wow.
have a letter from a slave from a plantation in Warwick, Rhode Island, who's fighting during the American Revolution, who's absolutely traumatized by war, wants to come back home to slavery rather than serve his term in the military
Wow.
and get freedom at the end of his and get paid for it. He's like, I don't want any of that. He's like, I can't stand this anymore. It's killing me mentally. I'm having fits, and I need to go home. They have that letter sitting in this armory. They have
Wow.
like incredible, like the Gettysburg gun. I don't know if you know what the Gettysburg gun is. It's sitting in the State House. It's got that cannonball that's like almost welded in the barrel. So
Yep.
the guy that died that was firing that, he had a Bible that he kept as like a notation of like every battle that he was in. He was in Antietam, Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, and Gettysburg, and he died on the third day of Gettysburg. He took the Bible and he handed it to his sergeant. He's like, make sure this gets back to my wife. He had notes not only of like sitting in a cornfield in Sharpsburg, Maryland, waiting for Johnny Rebel to cross the battlefield. That's him sitting at the Battle of Antietam, waiting to go into action, the most bloodiest day in American history, right there in these pages. And then you turn the page to the next page. Children, always love your mother. Always do right by your mother. Always be of good cheer. These are the wishes of your father. He's like write stuff to his kids, and then write about what he was doing. He was right about how godly he was, how he was doing, how he was amen and praise the Lord. That Bible sits in that museum. It's just absolutely incredible the amount of history that's there that nobody even knows about. So we investigate there. We do public stuff there. So Patrick, the curator, he works for Schneider Electric, and he does this like pro bono on the side. So he has the home office. So the door at the end of the hallway, the first doorway on the right, which you can't see in the frame right now, he's in that room. He has a little office in there. That's the lounge. So he's sitting in the lounge doing his office stuff. Yeah, he's one of 4 people that have the key to that building. It's like a Tuesday. I think it ended up being, it was Halloween. Halloween 2017. He texts me at work. He's like, buddy, you're never going to believe this. So he's like, I'm sitting there. I'm doing my work. He's like, I hear the door at the end of the hallway open. I hear a shuffling on the rug, like somebody's walking down the hallway. He's like, who the hell is this? He's like, I grabbed my gun because the place was locked up and I thought it was an intruder. He's like, I went in the hallway. I went in every single room. There's a bunch of rooms. There's a bunch of offices up that hallway. I checked the entire armory. No one was in the armory and the door was locked. He's like, so I went back on the video and I looked at the video and this is what I found. So the timestamp says 9:50:00. I'm going to zoom in, and at 32 seconds, there's going to be an anomaly on the door, and that's here. He sent me both. He sent me this video and the other video of him in the office hearing it and responding to it. I just have this video here to present, but I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to hit play, and you're going to see an anomaly, and or I hope you're going to see the anomaly, and that's what Patrick experienced. So here we go. So count in your head to like say 22 seconds. You see it zoomed in?
Yep, zoom in.
All right, so see this door at the end of the hallway?
Yeah.
The metal door handle, that's what you want to be looking at.
All right.
I'll tell you when I see it happening. I can't see the clock.
Oh, there's a noise there.
I'm zoomed in too much. Well, there it is. Oh.
Yeah, it looks like it moved a little bit.
Like a shadow blocks over it and then goes away.
Yeah, it's definitely the color. The shadow definitely went over it.
All right, let me see if I can go back and show that again real quick. All right, so in like 7 seconds, it's gonna happen. Oh shit! Come on. See that? See that? How it goes?
Yeah.
The doorknob
right
goes down and then comes back up again.
Definitely got brighter right there.
The shadow is manipulating the doorknob, and that's what alerts Patrick to get up and run out into the hallway and find absolutely nothing but just him in the museum. So what was that turned that lock then, you know? In that museum, we've heard footsteps in that very hallway. I have recordings of footsteps in that very hallway. And I couldn't tell you what it was because the people who were accounted for, we knew where they were, and I don't know.
So is this recurring in this place?
Yeah. We were going to investigate in here not too long ago, and it ended up getting put on hold because of the mandate with the governor about the people, and Patrick didn't want to upset the board, so excuse me, he didn't want to bring in a bunch of people against the governor's mandate and stuff. So he until that the whole coronavirus mandate is restrictions are lifted. I hope my computer doesn't die here. I think it's getting juice. Hold on, so bear with me a second. We'll hold it. But yeah, we regularly do investigations here. He's like, oh, stuff will start happening. And he's like, oh, but I think it's time for another ghost hunt. At that point, we'll call it a ghost hunt because, where I normally like to call it an investigation. I don't like to refer to myself as a ghost hunter. Not that I get offended or anything. It's just, it's not what I do. Because I look for all angles, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not like running around in a cemetery like asking for a ghost. Some cemeteries I'm in, but I don't know. I take it with I go in not expecting necessarily a ghost. Sometimes I'm expecting something different.
That's probably the best way to go about doing it, though.
But when we go in somewhere that we know that's definitely haunted, I have hundreds of EVPs from Barnum Armory. I have that video. I have hundreds of like personal experiences that I couldn't explain of other people that can't be explained. It's just too. I don't know. Like I say, I don't think there's that much coincidence.
So all right, this the box, the sounds that it picks up when it picks up people talking through the radio waves.
Yeah, the belief is that the spirits use the radio waves to manipulate the what they want to be said.
What's an example of that that you could show me how even if it's your experience or not, just the basic of how it comes through.
It will come through. All right, so like, and the one that I wanted to show you, we were at the Varnum Armory. We were on a public investigation on June 2nd, 2018. There were 8 of us sitting in one room. We were all adults, no children. And the spirit box is running. There's been, so we've heard children there. We've heard EVPs. We've heard with our own ears children's voices, and you can't find them. It was once. It's been known as like a family place over the years. So maybe there were families there at a dinner or something. But we picked up kids' voices ridiculously there. So one of the investigators that were there was asking, "Do you like it when people come to see you?" And a kid's voice came through, "Yes," as clear as day. It ran through like 4 or 5 different sweeps, though. So you're telling me a kid's voice said yes at the same exact time on all 5 of those stations? I don't see that as possible.
Do you have a copy of that? Do you have?
I do. I can show it to you. I show you where it is. I can't play it for you because you won't hear it because you're not hearing my audio.
Can you play it and just put your microphone up to it?
I don't have a microphone. I'm just
I want to hear this because there's something to be said about how a kid's voice is by far creepier than any other voice you could hear come out of the blue.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm like, I got plenty of those.
That's what scares me the most because there's also that whole religious thing about first communion and all that other crap.
Right.
So
right.
It makes you wonder if you're one of these religious buffs, that's why there's so many of that phenomenon.
Maybe. So you see my screen, okay?
Yep. I want to make sure that everybody goes to Ocean State Paranormal.
So these first few here are some of my good ones in this general area here. The one with the kid's voice, I was looking at it earlier, so I know what it looks like. Let me go through these. Like some of them are events. Some of them are. I have a person that uses the pendulum, which honestly, at first, Mike, I was like, this is bullshit. This is somebody just moving their hands and they're manipulating this to make you believe what they want you to believe, and it's just crap. And then I saw people do it, and I studied the hell out of their hand. And I sat there, and I had another person watching at the same time. Oh, shit. And I don't know, man. It's just they weren't manipulating it. And all right, so this is the one you want to look at.
All right.
A clip from a public investigation last June. It has this. This is the lounge here. That's a good
Mm.
one. That's the kid's voice. That's a the spirit box. The kid says yes. Any of the ones here, they'll be, and they're labeled. So they're labeled like Varnum. The Varnum ones are there. The cases are usually private cases, or either residential or whatnot. We investigated SK Victorian Mansion a few years back. That was incredible. Maddie's room is incredible. There's one in this one here, Maddie's room, where we're sitting there. There's four of us sitting in a room. There's nobody else on that floor. We're talking. They're talking about how next door was a nursery, and I can hear a music box. I'm like, wait, shh, shh. And people, I'm like, shh, shh, shh. And you go back and I play the recording, and you hear doom, 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 doom. It's like nobody had a cell phone on them. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Wow.
You know, this one here is good. There's one, I don't know if you look at the screen. There's one here of sketching with a man. It's this one right here. His name was Gary
case
Sheffield.
23, not 21.
He murdered his daughter, and he was incarcerated in this jail in East Greenwich that we investigate. This is the same place. And they say his name, Sheffield, clear as day, in the same cell he was in. So,
really?
Yeah, there's just something to be said about this stuff. This one here below it, this guy Joe, he's my investigator. He said,
wait, hold up. I'm trying to stay up with you. So the ones that I'm going to showcase, I'm going to put on the site. So right after we're done with this, when people come to look up the interview, I'm also going to have like the buddy link. So I'm going to put a Maddie's room, case 23, not 21.
Yeah.
What was the one before that, though?
All right, the Varnum one was.
What is it called?
Where is it? It's wrote it down here. Varnum one. Oh man. Yeah, it's down here. Hold on. It's the lounge. I went too far. Hold on.
You've gone too far.
I went too far. He's up here. Case 27 is Varnum.
All right, case 27?
Yeah. And then, all right, yeah, right here. There's a Varnum. It will be a clip from this one right here. A clip
the
from
lounge session?
Right here.
All right, clip.
From last June. That's the one of the little kid with the spirit box. That's pretty good.
So I've written down 4 that you think.
This one's really good. I'll give you ones where I use like triggers, like history to trigger a response.
Is that one?
Like the one that I tried to show you. It's not on the plan. It's on the main. So you go down to all videos. Oh my God, some of these. All right. So hold on. Before I get into that one, Chris, this one here, with this house on it, these are really good ones too. This
all right,
3 here.
So disembodied voices, and the other one's called Whoa.
And then the other 4 investigators in the 17th century kitchen.
What's that? Is that when?
One of those as well.
Is that Joey Lawrence?
No.
Whoa!
No, not that one.
The charges moved.
Yeah, and that was me. That says the charges moved.
Angela,
like right in front of me. It was.
I'm sorry. I'm stuck.
No, it's cool.
I'm stuck on Joey Lawrence. Whoa.
Down here too. Mud puddles. That's case 33. Mud puddles. So that's a kid's voice. That's a disembodied voice. Four men were sitting in this house that you see on this screen. This house is on a piece of land that's 25 acres large. It's in the dead middle of it. There are a few buildings. One of the buildings behind us is a mansion of the owners that own the property. They were in Florida. It was the middle of January. It was freezing. There's no heat in this house. There's little electricity, no heat. We're upstairs. We're all freezing our asses off. There's like stables down a few acres down, but part of the property. But there's no animals in there because it's winter time. So we are the only 4 assholes on this whole 25 acre of land. Okay, we're sitting in this upstairs room, whatever, and we hear a little kid's voice. It's like, oh, did you hear that? And we all heard it. Then you hear it again. It's like, oh, I just heard that. We all got up. We all looked around the house. We looked around outside. There was nobody there. So you go back to it, and the voice says mud puddles. Now, this house back in the 30s, served as the Rocky Hill School. The Rocky Hill, I think it's like a private school in Potawatomi in Warwick over in East Greenwich now. But this was the original spot, and their mascot, come to find out later on, was called the Narragansett Mud Puddles.
Oh Christ!
How freaking weird is that, though? You know, it's like I said, I just can't make
show
this
me
shit
the
up.
what is the mud puddle one listed on the door again?
It's
Case what?
33. Case 33 Mud Puddles. Anything from Case 33 is gold. Okay.
Because I think I could actually play them. Could I play them from my side? Like I'm
You
on
might be
your.
able to.
In other words, I'm on the site. Can you see what I'm doing right now? With
No.
can't see where I'm moving.
Oh wait, let
can't
me
find.
Go back down. Let me go back to Skype. Hold on.
I saw 34. My case 34. I don't know what case 32.
No, I
Buddy
can't see what you're doing.
returns. All right, it says Buddy returns. Lights out. Live from. This is investigation. EVP session. The woman's jail. Pendulum session at jail. Case 13. EVP 3. Paranormal.
So the pendulum session is going to be like us doing a pendulum session.
I just want to see here if you can hear something. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find one that maybe
in the pendulum session. It's just you'll see a pendulum moving, and it's just the way it moves. Just I don't know. It's weird that nobody's actually touching it. You know.
What about case 31? Is there any volume in that? I'm gonna go.
I would do. All right. So can you see what I'm looking at here?
Yeah.
Case 21 EVP 1. That's like one of my best as well. I can tell you. So the guy that's standing in that photo with the woman, he this is a tribute for him because he was going away to the Army, but he was at the jail with us, and our first session, whatever we do, we all pick a different area of the location, and we all sit there and just like listen. You listen for the natural sounds. You listen to the sounds like of the boiler turning on.
Yeah.
Listen to what it sounds like when somebody's walking outside. It just kind of gives you like 20 minutes to like just calm yourself down. You know, get in the moment, whatever. So he's sitting there. Joe's not a big feely guy, and nothing's really ever happened to Joe at this point. He goes around and he set up all the cameras. We had just gotten the camera system, and he set before we do any of the sessions, and he's going and he's setting up all the cameras. And he goes up to the third floor, and he's like, dude, I just had this weird feeling. It's just like this odd feeling that I wasn't alone. So he's like, I stopped what I was doing. I put the cameras up, and I stopped what I was doing. I'm like, hi, my name's Joe. I'm going to be here for a few hours. I might talk to you. I'll see you again later. Thanks. And he just plugs it in, finishes what he's doing, and then he goes on. So we all draw it before we start the lights out part of the investigation, we all draw from the hat to see where we're going to go, what area of the building. And sure enough, Joe pulled this third floor room that he was up in. Yep. Joe goes up there, and he sits down. He's like, I'm there for like 5 or 6 minutes. Now, this is February. And we had a lot of snow that year, and it was cold as hell. And it's a popular part of East Greenwich, but there was absolutely nobody. It was like a ghost town because it's not the summer. Not all the tourists, not all the summer people were at the restaurants. Everything's like a ghost town. Everything's closed down. He's sitting up there, and he's like, dude, I heard a woman's voice as clear as day. So he came down after the session. He's like, hey, were you talking? He went to the women. Oddly enough, there were 2 women in the jail, which is a bricked-off building separate from the main building, and there was a woman in the basement, and nobody speaks. You just kind of sit there and listen. Like, no, obviously, we weren't talking about. He's like, oh, yeah, I thought so. He's like, the first thing I did is, like, I went home and I reviewed, and I found this. He's sitting there in that 15 minutes, and he has a woman's voice, clear as day, and you'll hear it on the audio. It says, hi, Joe, clear as day. Oh. And he's like, I got up, I looked around, I looked outside. There was nobody outside. There was nobody anywhere.
With the pink tie? The one with the pink tie? The guy who's in the suit with the pink tie? That's the Hello Joe?
No, that's not. That's another guy. Right to the left of that. So the woman that's in the pink shirt and the guy in the gray shirt.
Yeah, from far away, he looks like Lex.
That's
I thought it was Lex Luger posing for a photo with a fan from far away.
Yeah, no, that's Joe.
Can you see how I thought that though?
Yeah, I can see that. I can kind of see that. Yeah. He's kind of built these days.
Yeah, I'm writing down Lex Luger. I'll know that one. So yeah, I'm gonna get them because we're having problems with the audio. I'm gonna get them right up on the thing immediately. Hopefully, it's a link right to your YouTube channel, right?
I
I'll
think
get
I
it
am on
going.
YouTube, but I more of
I
my
can
stuff
hear
is.
that.
Hold on, I just want to show you one more thing and that you can put up there. And
I actually could hear what you were just playing.
oh, could you?
Yeah.
All right, let me go back to that then.
What's the audio on that?
All right, maybe we got it. Okay, this is Hi Joe.
Hey, Joey.
Come on, dude. Oh, what's going on now? Oh, Jesus Christmas. Hold on. Technical difficulties.
I know them all so well.
I freaking hate computers. I love them, but I freaking hate computers, man.
We have technical difficulties. Everything I've ever done in my entire life involves technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah, of course. It's
Ugh.
always something. I have a
Yes.
tech guy. I don't have to deal with this shit.
I wish I had one. We're trying to get one here for the site.
Who's
I
this
got
guy,
5
Joe?
shows.
This very guy, Joe, is my tech guy. All right, so let's see if I can play this now. I'll get right down to it.
Are you doing a weekly podcast?
I don't.
Why not?
I don't know. I do have a lot to say. I have a ton to share. But there's a lot of guys who do it. I don't know. I could, I guess, but
Why don't you come do Sunday nights for us and be our coast to coast guy? I'm calling it couch to couch, and you can talk about anything you want to talk about.
Maybe I'll consider it.
In other words, you talk about beer, dude. You can talk about whatever you want. I'm saying like your own, like whatever you want to do on the legit site, because we need a non-sports show like this, like I'm doing right now, because people are interested in that too. And as much as you might not like Art Bell, when I was younger, back in the day, there was nothing better than like you had a full week of school, whatever, work, kids, and then Sunday would come, you'd watch sports all day long, and then late at night on an AM channel, you'd get Art Bell, and maybe you'd get some like really good stories about like when people could like when they were training people to be able to see on the battlefield. What those people call it, I forget what they called. They were training their minds to be able to like project to certain areas and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like
nothing
was better.
I know what you mean. I can't. Oh my god, I can't think of it.
It might be even my projection. I have no idea.
Projecting though. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So every topic he covered was interesting to me.
Yeah,
because it was always something like we need that on this site, because we're taking care of the sports aspect of it and all that other stuff. But you need that show on a Sunday night that you record it whenever you want, and then we'll just play it on a Sunday night. We'll debut it on a Sunday night, but cover any topic you want. I think that's something you should do for us. I'll help you get it going. I would love to see you do it, because it would be great for you and us, because I would love to hear what you have to say. Like, I get sick of sports at some point myself, and what would be better than that? Like I said, like my wife said it, on a Sunday afternoon, you have something that's non-sports for the site.
Right.
That's what we're doing with this, and you're going to think it over, and I would love to hear back from you, because, yeah, why not? But go on.
It might be something. All right, so we'll try and play this. We'll see what happens with Joe and his experience. It's playing. Okay. This just explains what I just said to you, essentially. Did you hear that?
Slightly.
Like a woman, hi, Joe.
Yeah, but I can't wait to hear it now when I get off the thing. Play it back again, just at the right spot.
Shit, yeah, hold on. Because I just did X, so now it's probably gonna stop. Hold on. Nah, yeah, it's not. It's not doing me. I'm sorry. Oh, now it's no. What is not there? Hold on.
What if you took a big dump in this video? What if in this video you took a big dump? It was just a video you took. This is me taking a dump. Oh, no, wait a minute, no.
Oh, God. Oh, this is terrible.
What is this, the disco dancing?
My computer sucks, and this is why I don't do podcasts.
What did you just?
What did you just do? When I needed to work for me.
What did you just do in that video?
I was doing I think we were doing a live. I was doing a live video of starting an investigation, and I when we do investigations, I'll start with like a Facebook live video, and sometimes talk a little bit about what we're doing or where we are or what have you. I think that's Let's see if that one will work.
Tell me something. Varnum was the guy's last name? Varnum?
Varnum it's their namesake, so it's named for General James V. Varnum from the Revolutionary War. He had a militia, and he actually started the first slave regiment. That slave that wrote that letter that's at the Varnum, he was in Varnum's Black Regiment. And then in the early night, well, there's another like militia company in East Greenwich that dates back to Nathaniel Greene Revolutionary War. They ended up splitting up in the turn of the 20th century, and half of them stayed with this organization that escapes my mind right now, which probably shouldn't, and the other half founded the Armory, founded the Barnum Militia. They're a militia company. They were part of the National Guard for a while. They leased out to the National Guard. They have a lot of, I think it's the 296th, but I'm not sure, don't quote me, of the National Guard that was housed there for over 30, 40 years. But they've collected this always had this museum. Their founder collected this mass of like historical objects and artifacts, and they just started picking up items over the years. Now they do a lot of conservation work. They're involved with conserving they got the flags from Bristol, and they got some state flags from the Civil War, some from the Red War, and then they unraveled this flag that was a silk flag, and it belonged to one of the guys who founded the town of Bristol. He was a colonel in the King Philip's War, and this was his battle flag, and there's a blood stain on it. So we're talking 1675.
Wow.
And they restored that flag. And PBS came in and did a filming, and they're trying to get the state flags next. Probably about 250 Rhode Island state flags used from the American Revolution through World War I. Just restore and be able to display these flags that were once might have been eaten by moths. So they do stuff like that.
Hey, so let me ask you this then. Did you must have voted to keep the name for the state, or did you vote to?
I did. I understand slavery and all that stuff. And
yeah, and here's the thing. I don't mind asking you that question because
I'm a history guy, though.
Yeah, I took it as simply, in other words, we never used the term. We never used the whole title.
It's Rhode Island.
Seldom used, right? Right. But however, to get offended, I guess to get in my head, to get offended by something like that didn't really make as much sense to me. To be that upset about the name of the state staying what it was.
Right. No.
There was a reason that it was Providence Plantations. It was a reason why they let that be known that it was the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations.
Although, however, those plantations were worked on by slaves. There was a slave trade here in Rhode Island. We had slaves here until after the American Revolution, so there was slavery here.
I guess my issue is my problem with that is that's like the last thing we need to work on.
Right. We don't need, right.
Because I just heard the Cleveland Indians now. Because you're a historian, so this is all going to bleed over into New York. They have to change their name now. The Indians.
I'm a big baseball fan, so I'm not really a big fan of changing the name. Indians are really not. I don't think it's really.
Come on, the Redskins.
I can see Redskins. That's kind of offensive, but Indians. I don't know. I think it's a common term, and it holds a lot of history, especially in Cleveland.
But it's not. How is Indian insulting? In other words, if there was a team called the Italians, I'd love it. I'd love it. I mean, they'd make fun of it horrendously, but I would love it.
What if it was like the Providence Guineas, though?
I don't care. I would love it. I'd be like, we got a team. We got a team. You understand, buddy? My whole family came over between 1910 roughly. I say 1908 to 1920. The biggest influx of the Italians to Rhode Island was around 1912, 1913, like that.
Yeah.
So my whole family came over then. So it's weird, like literally my family tree is not involved in any of the whole political strifes that went on before they arrived in America. Like
Right.
I'm literally of immigrant descent, where it's like I don't know. We got here from what my papa used to tell me. The Irish were extremely mean to the Italians, and like that was like the issue back in the day. The Italians didn't like the Irish, and the Irish didn't like the Italians.
My grandfather, who's Irish, told me the same thing, but said the opposite thing about the Italians.
Yeah, they would.
But
Well,
funny. Yeah.
the Irish would not let the Italians cross this certain street up Federal Hill. There was a line. I don't know. It was probably the main street.
Yeah.
But as my grandfather tells it, that if the Irish, like if an old Irish person saw one of the Italian kids even just come over to that side, they would hit him with their umbrella or whack him, tell him to go back to their neighborhood.
I
Like,
believe, well, Smith Hill was predominantly Irish, and Federal Hill was predominantly Italian. My grandfather grew up off of Branch Ave, where he was Irish, and he would get jumped by like gangs of Italian kids that were Branch Ave kids. And so you get, just a pilgrim in an unholy land.
and I
I
can
don't know.
understand Italians being ghosts more so than almost any other nationality because
Oh,
boy,
all that personality.
they don't let go. They don't let go. You know that Italians don't let go of beefs. God forbid they'll hold it till they'll hold it to the dead. They'll hold it till they're past dead. They'll come
Yeah.
back. If you didn't pay them rent once, they'll come back to haunt you just for that 1 month you missed the rent. And I'm not
Yep.
even making that up.
Yep.
So I could see, you know what? What a great study would be to see if there's more paranormal activity in areas where there's heavy, like Italians or people of ethnicity where they're like very emotional and very like, hey, oh, whatever it is. Because I think black,
Lots of personality.
Italian, we're all very loud and vocal. Certain nationalities
Yeah.
maybe not as vocal. So I wonder if there's more ghosts in the areas because these are people, right, that
Right.
they don't want to go. Like,
Right.
fuck you, I'm not going. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I still got things I got to take care of.
Yeah. Maybe they could be. So on the site, just a few other quick mentions. If you're looking at the video section, you go all the way down. You can see case 2,
Yep.
EVP 22. That's one where I trigger a response from a military Civil War veteran. And my favorite of all time is case number 3, EVP 32. So that's where respect comes in. And I'll tell you why. We were investigating. It was 3 of us. It was myself, Catherine, who was a member of us, and her husband Scott. And that's it. Scott doesn't say anything. Scott was just carrying all the equipment, all the video, all the cameras. Catherine was taking the pictures, and I was asking the evidence, asking the questions. We all had recorders. So all night long, going through the whole place, and it's 13 bedrooms, 13 suites, and it's bed and breakfast on Block Island. We get up to the 2nd floor, and now I had heard stories about this room from friends. I had heard of presence cell. I have heard of like people feeling like they're being watched. The room was called. Their rooms were all named for family members who had lived in that house. So it was a bed and breakfast that was owned originally by a doctor and his brother who was a senator, and their whole family lived in there over the years. And then their grandson took it over and made it a bed and breakfast and named every room after where each person lived. So we went to Mama's room. Mama was born in 1853. She died in the late 1930s. She outlived both of her sons, the doctor and the senator, and she ended up dying. She ended up getting buried at the cemetery, and they named the room after her. So we walked into this room probably like 2 a.m. in the morning. I woke up. I'm like, hey, let me talk to the old lady in the house. Scott's like, whoa, buddy. He's like, look, you got to remember who you're talking to here. This is a woman who's from the Victorian era. She's used to respect. She's used to be treated nicely. You gotta say it really you gotta say it cordially. And he's like, "Hello, Mrs. Champlin." No fucking word of a lie.
Which one is this?
After he says hello, it's me, Catherine, and this guy Scott. This old woman's voice comes through. Hello, clear as day. Couldn't tell you there was nobody else in the building. There was very few people on Block Island because it was March, preseason. So there's like maybe a couple hundred people that lived there. Yeah. And we had the keys to this whole place. There was nobody in the whole place. Couldn't tell you who that old woman was that said hello, like she was in the room with us.
What case was it again?
Case number 3, EVP 32.
Case number 3.
If you're on all videos, you go all the way down. There's a few different examples of it. I revamped it a few times. Now, again, let me warn you. Let me warn you. In a few of the videos, they'll start off with this really annoying bell and like the sounds of the ocean. I did that for a couple of years in my videos, and looking back on it, it's like when you play multiple of them in a row, it's annoying as hell. But
Oh,
just
for
something.
Rhode Island? You did it for the whole Rhode Island thing?
Yeah, it's just it's the first like 10 seconds of a lot of the videos. Anything from Case 3, and it's like 5 of them from Case 3 on there, but 32 is the best.
Yeah, I
And
keep finding case 3 reveal, case 3 like number 28, case 3.
all right, 28, keep going down. Yeah,
There's,
38, then there's 3 and 32. I don't know how far down you are.
I got whoa, the chair just moves. So
Oh,
now I'm going farther.
is it just after that?
No, I got
It's
case
way
34.
down. You go all the way down. You'll see pictures of the lad school. You go past that.
Case
I also
11.
have 11's the lad school. Keep going down.
There's nothing after that. It was case 3, case 34, end of results.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
All right, maybe I'll send you the videos. I don't. Maybe I'll tag you in them or something because they're definitely. I'm looking at them right now. They're definitely.
I'll
Yeah.
pull. I just go to your page. I must have them in a different format. Like I have them just like one at a time.
Yeah. If you go to the page, yeah, too. If you go to the pages, case 11, and that's the lad school. We were privied 4 months before they tore the Fogarty Hospital down and the last remaining buildings at the lad school. A really good friend of mine who had a job with the state allowed 2 of us to go in for. We went into 3 buildings, 20 minutes each. We couldn't leave the first floor because all the other floors were collapsing, and oh my God, I didn't see them at the time, but I heard the rats in the recordings, and it was absolutely disgusting. But there are some holy shit EVPs from the lad school.
Really?
That place, it was definitely haunted. Definitely. No doubt in my mind. Men, women, children. And it was just me and this woman, Catherine. We walked around this whole building. There was no other people in there, but you swear to God, there was a man, a woman standing like right in front of me at any given time. It's weird. It's just weird.
I got them all up now. I think this is definitely them because there's like 3 pendulums in a row.
Yeah, you just keep going down.
All right, and this is Ocean State Paranormal's video. Then I'm case 33, second floor. Case 33, mud puddles. That's one we wanted, isn't it?
Mud puddles. That's one of them you wanted. Yep.
All right, let's just see what happens when I play that.
All right.
There's no volume on my end.
It starts off with no volume sometimes.
All right, at what point is it? Let's see. Oh, I can hear it.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard puddles. That's freaky. Yeah, that was scary. I heard puddles. The mud wasn't as clear as puddles, but goddamn, that was definitely someone kind of whispering puddles.
Yeah, it's just weird how it happens like that. I'm gonna try and find a video really quick that I can show you before we finish this up. I don't have it on my page, that's why I'm just taking a quick look for it. My computer might not want to cooperate. Of course it doesn't.
Maddie's room. Can you hear it? What I hear?
No.
Garden Mass. Well, investigating the AT mail sent them in. Buddy asked for the answer about men. Well. Boss, can you please?
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
See, now, all right. So if I'm trying to discredit you, all I would say is that you added that audio.
You could say that, right?
That's the only thing I could say because that's all I could say, right? What else could I say?
I guess, but no, we don't.
You'd be crazy too because that's such a random woman's voice. Like for you to be hiding that woman's voice in an audio thing just to prove a point is crazy. I think it's even crazier than anything else. So
Yeah.
I'm prone to believe somebody when they show me something like that.
Right.
Because why would you bother?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, some people think they're gonna make a name. Some people they think they're gonna make money out of it. I don't. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, come on.
Not really in this for the money.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's not really money. Yeah, I guess if I get my own TV show, I don't know, but I don't. I wouldn't even want that.
You start doing a podcast once a week, or actually, how about once every 2 weeks for the site, and you throw it up there on a Sunday night. I think you'll start getting some rub coming our way. I think there's something there.
It could be. Yeah, it could definitely be.
Your approach is definitely worth it. Like it's
Yeah.
definitely better than most people's approaches to this. You're
Yeah.
looking at it almost like a financial advisor, but for ghosts. That's kind of how I would describe it. You want to break it down for them.
Maybe something to look at. Yeah, I could put something together by chance. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's where like that's and people want to hear about it, and they want to hear about it from somebody that's going to give them, like, again, answers, like reasoning to why they believe what they believe. Like I want to hear like why someone believes what they believe or what their theory is. Like there's always got to be some sort of reasoning behind it. You know what I mean? There's got to be. What were you thinking? Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm that guy. What were you thinking when you did this? Because it's really important to me. You know.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
Buddy, if you have anything else to show us, that let me know. If not, I know I've had you on there for a while. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna link right up to your Ocean State Paranormal. Make sure that everybody checks out the page.
Let's see if I have this video really quick. I don't know if I do.
Do you have all right? So all your videos must go to a YouTube channel. Yes.
Well, yeah, I did have a YouTube channel that I did start. I haven't loaded in more than half of my stuff, but some of the older stuff is on the YouTube channel. Yeah.
I'm trying to get like the best link to just put there so that people can see everything. I was thinking maybe
the video section of Ocean State Paranormal page on Facebook is
does that give me a link? The photo section.
It should, like, right in the browser. Yeah, right up here. Can you see what I see? This right here.
Yeah, let me give that a shot. Just trying to get up on the site in some spot. That's what I'm trying to do. All right. That works. I'll put that up there. So, all right, to wrap up what you do is just look for something. Basically, you're not for hire.
Right.
You're not accepting payments, but you are for, in other words, if there's something really going on, if you're listening to this podcast and you're in the area and you really, really have something going on, how would
you think
something's
going on? You don't have to.
Want them to do?
If you think you might have like visitors, or you might have something going on in your home, or maybe you're going nuts and you want to try this avenue first, you just go to the Ocean State Paranormal page, and there's a button that says Contact Us. You can hit that. You can reach out to me, Buddy Thayer, on Facebook. I respond to the messages on the site myself, so. Maybe a couple days, somebody will contact you and get you set up with like a meeting so we can figure out how we can help you, if we can help you. Most cases, even if it's something that we think that we can't handle, we have people that we know that do handle stuff like that, like say a demonic haunting or whatnot. But we would actually come in and have to establish that in the first place, honestly. So that's just 90%, like I said, 99% of the time. It's just like, if you feel uncomfortable, if you think there's something going on, reach out to us. We'll come in, we'll look at your house, we'll investigate everything, we'll be as detailed as possible, and we'll give you. We won't spew you any bullshit. Any of the evidence that we present, it goes through such a scrutineous process. Because I don't want to. I make the entire group has to review, has to agree on everything before we put anything out, because we don't want to, like, hey, this is garbage, and we're presenting garbage. We want to present the best of what we got, you know. So
It's weird. A couple things. One, for people that are having this problem right now, you realize that hearing your voice and you say that you handle or deal with these issues might be a gigantic thing for these people. Because I'm thinking, if you hear this and it strikes a chord with you, then you really do need some sort of help. So I think it's kind of good that you're taking up this niche, that you're following through with this. If you go to the website right now, legitfantasyfootball.com or legitfantasysports.com, I have a link up for Ocean State Paranormal. All you have to do is click that link, and it takes you to all those videos. The standout videos to look for are Maddie's Room, Mud Puddles, Case 23, 27. It says a clip from our public investigation last June, dismembered voices. It says, whoa, that's the Joey Lawrence case. And then Case 33, EVP 2.
Yes. Yeah.
I got it all written down, my friend. I'm a freak for stuff like this. So now I'm gonna be researching the page for the rest of the night.
yeah. Help yourself. Some of them are better than others, but the DVPs are pretty good. We're not gonna put out garbage. We're only gonna put out what we think is unexplainable.
Perfect. So, buddy, couple things. Check out the site, and see where your link is. Mm-hmm. Really consider. Every 2 weeks saying, hey, Mike, here's an hour podcast that I just did. Let's get into this. Like, I'm telling you, you'd be perfect for that Sunday night spot with us. Secondly, thank you so much. This is fantastic. Like, I love, and I would love to get into a historic conversation with you too, just because sports and history are like the same. They're the same in my head. Like, I relate historic moments based on kind of sports moments also. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I just can see, like, if you said 1984, I'd be like, oh yeah, well, the Celtics were, like, I could just add that to, like, what was happening in that time. So right. I have a affiliation for history. Like, boxing itself is history. So I would love to hear more just in general on history, especially Rhode Island history, because I don't believe people here really know.
I'm a big Rhode Island history fan. That's my main focus nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be perfect, man.
So yeah, it's cool.
But so I appreciate you coming on. I'm just gonna do my quick little radio wrap up here.
Sure.
So, buddy, once again, with Ocean State Paranormal, there's a link to his site, his Facebook page on our website. If they want to reach you, buddy, they can just reach you via that Facebook site or your email. That's I believe it's on the site.
Right.
Obviously, don't start flooding him with calls on, like, ridiculous things. But if you really think you may have something going on that you can't quite explain, and you really do need help, Buddy's the guy to call, just for the fact that he's going to look at the whole thing as a big picture, and he's going to walk you through every single step, and he's going to try to figure out every way that it's not something that you don't want it to be until he finally gets down to the nitty-gritty. You know what I mean? He's going to nail it down. You're going to whittle it down to what it is. And I that's the approach you want from somebody that's going to come help you with something like this. This is a sensitive type of situation. This isn't something you want to kind of tell the neighbors, maybe even the family members about.
But I think you're saying when you say you're seeing ghosts and hearing dead people. Right?
Exactly. So you're the person who's
going to get the same response.
Right? You keep it on the down low. You're not going to tell everybody in their family what's going on. You take care of it for them. And, you're the guy that you reach. Am I right?
And everything's confidential. Like I said, we do post stuff on the Facebook, but it's case number so-and-so, so we don't reveal anybody's name or information for that very reason.
Perfect. Exactly. Hey, all right. So now, buddy, I'm going to have to figure out how to stop recording on this and how I can save it and post it, because I've never done anything like that before.
Okay.
So good luck to me, I guess.
Yeah, good luck.
I have no idea. But thank you so much. And this was, again, me, Mike Lepre from SOC, the King Mike L. This is legit fantasy football, legit fantasy sports. Thank you, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow, Thursday night, for our flagship show. It's going to be half football and half basketball. We're going to be introducing the kickoff for our basketball show and our special segment, Stew for Two. This is me, Mike Lepre, legit fantasy sports with my friend Buddy Thayer. Thank you so very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.